good sis.
You were talking about having powdered milk nips, and
That's
that
just
your
my
shoulders and your waist blend.
dude. My body
Where's your
looks
belly
like
button?
my body looks like Utah. It's like it's just like flat and salty,
I
and then
listen.
every once in a while there's like a little like my elbows just jart out of my body like
It's a huge mountain of elbows.
You talk
gigantic.
about yourself like Conan O'Brien. I've been listening to a lot of his podcasts. It's hilarious. If you guys are interested in listening to somebody that's just is such a hilariously funny and smart dude. He's so good, man. But
So
he always
fast.
talks about his body in the best ways, dude.
He's actually
Like,
he's in good shape. Conan is, man. I've shook that.
I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, that was back in like 2009 or something when you went on his show. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Conan looks like. It's just funny the way he talks about himself. Yeah. I mean, and you look fine too, man. You're just talking about your soggy bottom boys.
I look fine with a shirt on. Like people would be like, they would look at me and be like, "Oh, the guy's a healthy looking guy." You take my shirt off, and from my waist up to my neck, I look like a tube of yogurt. It's just
What flavor? Tapioca?
no definition. Yeah, like there's not even bumps. There's no tapioca.
Oh.
Just straight Greek.
Dude. Just straight. No, there's no def, huh? No defy.
Creme brulee. Yeah, just absolutely.
Maybe you need to get a tan. Well, that's what I was saying, man. Maybe it would be a perfect time for you now to go do a photo shoot shirtless, maybe even full nude, dude, and just have your long hair that you got going right now just covering your nips and just put your hand over your wang and see what happens.
It's weird. Taking pictures is weird enough, bro.
Like, yeah, I know, man.
Like
You might as well just go full in.
Oh God, posing for pictures is the least fun thing ever. I mean,
You've been
not
posting
not least fun, but like it's so weird. They're like, okay, act like you are not acting.
Right,
act like you're enjoying yourself when you're not. It's so odd.
Be
like,
yourself.
Yeah, Julian knows nothing about that.
It's the worst, dude.
But
try getting headshots where you're supposed to be like, dude. It's such a strange thing. I mean, you've gotten so many. Both of you guys have gotten photos of yourselves taken so many times. It's a very unnatural thing to do.
So,
but,
I mean,
you know,
do you think it's tougher doing the photos or video?
Photos.
Photos for real? Okay.
Because it's just so unnatural to like pose and capture an essence or like a moment of something rather than just like trying to use my instincts to like exist naturally as I can.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I don't
just
know. That
so
might be different for you guys.
It just
You are
so
photogenic, man.
to me. I just stand and let the camera do the work.
Do you like to smile with your teeth? That's a nice. Everybody, give your best smiles right now to camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you naturally tilt your head, Julian, or is that?
I think so.
Are you?
I think he does. Yeah.
No, I think I don't know.
Like a little puppy dog.
Sometimes when I go get headshots,
I would agree with you, Jules, that posing for pictures is much harder than video. Posing for pictures, because one, I want to look happy. I want to look like I'm fun to hang out with, and that's like really hard to do and not look like a total chode. In a photo, like I loathe looking at photos. Not loathe. That's a tough word, but seeing people in photos not smile. I'm like, why the fuck are you taking the photo if you're not happy?
I mean, that's most like fashion photos and stuff, right? Or like a high level photography is all just the like Zoolander face, right?
Yeah,
not like you're saying looking jovial is hard to do and looks ridiculous when trying to take a photo. Like truly
it's all
happy in a photo.
Exactly. There's like all photos nowadays seemingly that are supposed to like look hip and look like high fashion. Nobody's smiling. And I'm like, why the fuck? You were standing there on purpose. You like put it in your schedule. You dressed up. You straightened your hair. You put on all of this like outfit, and you're not gonna act like you're enjoying yourself. Like how it's just that doesn't compute in my mind when I look at people in photos that were like, yeah, I'm here and I'm standing here on my own free will, but I'm having a miserable time. It's like, get out of the
Yeah.
photo, you fuck. Why are you in
Yeah,
the
but that's
photo?
Hey man, I'm getting paid for this Banana Republic ad, but I don't believe in the company's culture.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Exactly.
smile.
I mean, I have to take a lot of photos. I like the majority of the photos that I take that are professional shots for like an acting portfolio to submit for me as an actor when casting looks at me. The majority of them are not happy.
Right.
They're like,
Serious.
me looking like a cop or a douche of a frat boy, like some kind of like, just fuck boy who sucks, who's
Right,
not just like pumped.
but wouldn't you say that is because the majority of roles in dramatic film are like pensive roles, whereas music, like if I'm not Johnny Cash, why am I not smiling in my
Right.
pictures? Like
Well, I guess it's your call, isn't it?
dude, well, no, yeah, of course it
Let
is.
me see.
But the most musicians don't smile in their photos. They'll like show up to the award ceremony and they won't smile. It's like, bro, if you're not happy to be at the award ceremony, don't go to the award ceremony.
Yeah,
Don't
dude,
show up.
Rihanna's 3 seats away from you, bro.
I
found
know,
this one of
Jules.
you, Alan.
Yeah, I know, bro, that I just did a photo shoot and I
think
didn't smile.
Julian posted.
You look great
posted
though,
a photo
man.
today too.
Well, so this is my
I
point.
posted a photo today too.
This is my point,
I
though.
wasn't
Is
smiling.
like my point is that photo you're showing is a photo that I recently took. It looks, I get it. It looks cooler to not be stoked, but like, because if
Yeah.
I was just like,
No.
yeah, I'm happy,
I don't
it
know. I
looks
mean,
weird.
I beg to differ. I think if you had a candid photo where you're just like laughing your ass off, which you have
Yes.
plenty of, those are the ones.
Right, but
Like
that's
those
harder.
are the best photos.
That's harder to recreate. That is what I'm saying. It's harder to recreate like genuine, authentic joy than it is to recreate genuine, authentic, I don't give a shit. And so that's
Yeah.
why maybe you see a lot more people just like not smiling in their photos, because a non-authentic smile, I feel like maybe you can read. That's it. That's an interesting thought experiment. Do you guys think that that's a language, like authentic joy?
As far as facial expression goes?
Yeah, like can you tell an authentic smile versus a non-authentic smile most of the time? You personally?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I would like to say that I could, but there's also like I live in New York, surrounded by people who are like inauthentically smiling all the time, just to like get by. Actors and people that do this as a career, who are just like, I'm happy, I'm not happy, like and so if you're a good judge of character, then sure you can tell, but not always. Some people are really good at hiding that stuff, man. Some people are good actors, it's just
I've
good
been to New York.
fakers. They can.
I've been to New York several times, and I didn't see one person smile.
You saw me smiling.
Like what New York? What suburb of New York are you living in where there's people smiling? Like fuck
Yeah, it's
off.
weird. People are smiling now, man. People are smiling now. People are out and about getting buck wild, dude. It's like
Yeah.
I was about to just comment on the heat, but then I wasn't, because Steve's like 15 degrees hotter than me. You're in winter, Alan, aren't you?
Yeah, it's winter over here, dude. I've had a cold for like 6 months.
Oh, dude, 110
really?
today.
Yeah, 110.
You hear that?
Steve is currently in the Pacific Northwest, where they are experiencing the highest temperatures since the 1890s, when they first started recording temperature.
I think they broke that record too.
Like
what?
That's 42 Celsius for the Australians listening.
Yeah, that's wild.
Is that 42 Celsius?
It's hot.
Yeah,
super hot. So I read a little bit about it this morning. and why it's happening. Some sort of pressure buildup. Steve, have you researched at all why the temperatures are so crazy?
I'm too busy sweating.
Have you been getting on the
What are you
Pelly
finding out?
whilst in the heat? Double sweat time, bro?
Only for a couple of days. This is the 8th day, so I've rested, but did a whole week straight.
Dude,
I'm going to start up again tomorrow.
Hell yeah, dude.
Attaboy.
That's rad.
It's good.
How's that asshole?
Sweating your ass off. Yeah.
Good, man. It's finally numb enough, dude. Straight to Rikers.
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
So I can't confirm. I looked and I can't confirm or deny this, but I believe that it's true. A good amount of Tour de France bike riders will ride their bikes so much that their butthole callus is closed and they have to get it like surgically reopened.
Yikes, dude.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean, those guys are going
God,
like,
I'm not there yet.
I hope not.
Just take like a little X-Acto knife and just like sliver it open. I know I had this. I was doing things today.
Are you okay?
I have it next to my bedside table just in case things get a little depressive. I'm just joking. Dude. I was just cutting boxes. I got so many boxes today so I could set up my place like this, guys. So I could be looking like, so I could look like a fancy boy like you guys.
Yeah, it looks really good.
But I do want to go back to that because like, how do you cut open a butthole callus? What do you think you got to do?
I don't know. I was told this and I had the same reaction.
Who told you this?
I think it was my brother-in-law. I had the same reaction though, which was like, oh, that makes sense. Oh. Like you guys, neither of you guys were like, bullshit. You guys heard that and you're like, wow.
Totally.
And I did the same thing. And then I went online and I tried to confirm or deny like Tour de France bike riders' buttholes. I forget. It's been a while. But I couldn't confirm or deny it.
I could honestly see something like that happening to me, not even doing a Tour de France, just jumping on the trampoline or something.
Jules just like sat in the hot tub too long and his whole butt closed.
Dude, I can't wait for that GoFundMe to be sent to me.
I've been so chafed before. That shit sucks so bad, dude. You're so chafed and you just like feel the insides of your thighs and there's just like an inch of just like thickness that is just red and puffing.
Oh, it's the worst. You can't.
Man, that shit hurts. Tubs of pawpaw from Australia for Julian, buddy.
Oh, dude. No, the only thing that works is Gold Bond, dude.
Huh.
Yeah.
Shout out to Gold Bond.
Surprised you guys know that.
Shout out to Gold Bond. But what's interesting is like that's seemingly I've chapped a few times. There seems to be only one powder, which is Gold Bond. Is there no other competitors? And do they just hold a monopoly over the itch cream?
I mean, there's baby powder, but it doesn't do the same thing.
I prefer Field Chalk.
Field Chalk.
What color?
It stays longer. Eggshell.
Magenta. Tell me this. Did you guys learn colors any other way outside of your crayon box when you were a kid? Or did you just learn the primary colors and then like how else would you have figured out colors growing up outside of like the crayon box of 64 crayons?
I think you're right. I think
you started getting like prism and like opaque and like crescendo. I don't even know I don't even know what they're called.
There was
I don't
cyan,
think I learned.
Remember
and honestly,
cyan?
Yeah,
science. Well, that's. I feel like you're just talking. I feel like we're just like naming off like filters from like Instagram when it first showed up that are like sepia. Yeah,
lo-fi. Philo.
Yeah,
lo-fi and philo.
I actually have a hard time recognizing colors that are similar, like pinks and whites and reds and browns and greens and browns and like kind of reds and oranges and like things that are closely related in the family. And so people have said that a lot of men are typically colorblind, and I've just kind of added that to my narrative of like, yeah, I'm probably like a little bit colorblind, but I think it's just because I don't know colors very well because I didn't learn colors that well as a kid. Like that's why I was asking the question. Like, yeah, but I only know colors based on the crayon box that I saw, and still I was just like, well, cool. Magenta is just like red, purple.
How many colors are there though? And is every other color just a shade of two other
Unlimited.
colors?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well,
they're all just 5 primary colors.
Exactly. They're all just mixtures of just 5 different primary colors and the shades of the in-betweens, right?
Well,
Yeah.
and what I mean, we can see versus what the actual like planet looks like and light refracting in the different ways to see. Like David Attenborough just had a series out that was like that, right? It was like looking through different refracted lights and lenses to see, like butterflies like glowing and all these different things that the human eye just doesn't see at all. And like how like cats can retain light in their eyes so they see like this perfectly at dead of night. It's a crazy, crazy thing.
Would you rather
That
see
is crazy.
Would you rather see perfectly at night or have to perform emergency surgery on Julian's chapped asshole?
What do you mean?
What do you
Would
mean?
I have to do the surgery at night?
No, it's a would you rather.
Oh. Probably see at night. Or would I have to save Julian's butthole?
Good choice.
I mean, if you didn't, I'd be fucked, man.
Is it life or death for Julian's butthole?
Oh well, we can get him a bag, just like pump it out the side, dude. Then
Colonoscopy? Colonoscopy?
Think about how much time you would save in your life if you didn't have to poo or pee.
I'd have no sane time in my life if I didn't have to poo or pee.
Seriously.
You'd never get your social media break on the potty.
Mm-hmm. That's the only time I post.
Yeah, me too. Sometimes it takes me 4 hours to write my captions.
Bro,
I'm just sitting there. My legs go numb 4 times.
You get lengthy I always on keep social media posts.
I do. I definitely do. But I have a standard of always keeping it below 18 lines in my notes on my phone, which is long. I know, but like I have this like OCD complex where I'm like it can't go over. I don't know why, because when I look at it, it looks like it's long, and I understand that they're long, but I can't go farther than 18 lines. So I like have to sit there and like go back and forth with it so many times. If it's shorter, then it's great. But yeah, 18 lines, man. That's the trick for JP Grimshaw over here.
Dude, 18 lines.
So yeah, probably night vision.
18 lines of what? Bullshit.
Yes. Circling back, I want that night vision. I think that Rudy might be colorblind. Either that or he's just like not aware that red and green are, because of the colors, he's continually mixing those, and that's what I hear is those are the 2 colors that you mix up most frequently if you're colorblind. Huh. And so like
you can't see green or something. Is that what it is? Or
well, I think that like they both look red. They both look green. Like red looks green.
Okay.
And green looks green. And so it's either, I mean, he has 2. So it's either he's just like not getting an A+ on the quiz whenever I ask him, like, what color is that? But he always gets blue. Mm-hmm. So I give him the blue card, and he's like, that's blue. And then I show him something
it's red and green for sure. It's like a mix. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard that red and green is the ones that are difficult to see if you have some sort of color blindness.
Yeah. I don't think there's any way to determine if he's actually colorblind yet, but those are definitely the ones that he keeps flunking out on.
Huh. Is he getting because I remember early on he was really kind of into buttons and touching, like, remotes and controls and stuff like that. And Taz was always kind of like, it's kind of a bummer because I want him to like be into like coloring and painting, and he seems to be like in a different phase where he's not into like doing those art projects quite yet. But is he getting more into that now that you're talking about colors and stuff? Or is he still kind of just like bashing buttons and trying to drive a truck?
He's all about tactile. He's like super into trucks, and he's very button oriented. Yeah, not too like I'm gonna sit down and do an art project yet. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know when that starts like coming out of a child. Like some kids will start. I'm acting like I'm an expert. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I would imagine that like it can come out at any point.
Yeah.
So many. The best. The best thing currently is that he's super into role playing, and so
cool.
he's like constantly going into like the closet or on top of something and acting like he's a chef. He's like, "Oh, you want some
a chef?
Yeah, you want some biscuits?" Be like, "Dude, I'd love some biscuits." And he's like, "Okay, I get for you." And he like goes back into the back of the closet and he comes back and
he
he goes,
says it like that.
"Yeah, here's your biscuit." And you go, "Oh, that's a good oh, I mean, there's words that he doesn't
Right. Strings
pronounce.
through
Or
and
sorry, there's letters that he doesn't pronounce. So he doesn't pronounce his S's yet, or like his
pickets. Here's your
R's,
hit
you know.
here your biscuits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's super fun. Like he's in a phase of where he's starting to have conversations with you, which is like a whole new level of joy as a parent. Because
God, how cool, man.
prior to that, it's like very one-way street. You know, it's very, very like, okay, well, you do everything for the kid, like, and now it's you're having conversation is just communicating with your child. That's like epic. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Want some
How
steak?
great to be. Yeah. Is he able to eat steak? Are you cooking him up some briskets, or is Taz making him eat quinoa and lentil soup?
No, dude, he's tried steak for sure. And actually, hot off the press, dude, Tazzy Wazzy's eating meat.
Is she? Like
No.
regularly? Or somewhat
Like pretty
frequently?
much every time we sit down and have a meal, there's protein, and she's having some of it.
Nice.
Huzzah.
Can you determine if it's changing her energy levels or emotional levels or anything, or is it kind of nothing? Nothing changes.
Nothing. She went into
not in like a bad way. Like I was wondering if it did something good.
Yeah, right.
Because she's been so
I was kind of hoping that. I was sort of like the
that she
evil
just like
genius,
become
just
a
like
superhero.
hoping that she would just.
Last time she had some brisket, she was on the trampoline for an hour.
Yeah,
and you were so excited,
getting massages.
Yeah, that was
and
so
stuff.
wild. I was like, oh, I know what the problem is. I know what I know why she's tired all the time. Funniest thing was she went to a naturopath and got her blood work done. I think it's okay for me to share this. I don't know.
Hot off the press.
Hot off the press. If not, Jules can not edit it and send it.
Her iron levels were like, I think a normal iron level is, they say on the scale, is between 30 and 50. She had 7.
Oh, jeez.
When they measured it. So they're like, yeah, that's probably why, your energy levels are a little low. And I mean, she's a mom, dude. Like you're just going to have low energy when you're a mom, right? You get no time to yourself. You're not sleeping a ton. You're waking up in the middle of the night. She goes and gets an iron infusion, which is, they just shoot it in your arm. Iron infusion, I think is what the technical term is. Her levels jump from 13 to 300.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dude, you're married to Iron Woman.
No effect.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't feel any different.
Really? Oh.
Yeah.
What a trip.
I was like, what? Well, that sucks. Yeah, well, maybe I was kind of hoping that like, now it just needs to start doing just like freebasing some meth, dude. I was like, let's get it in, dude. Let's go full tilt. Get some ice.
Gotta go straight to the black tar heroin, dude. Heroin.
You got your drugs mixed up there, player. That's gonna put you to sleep. Ain't gonna do nothing for you.
It is. What do you guys? God, can you imagine trying that? Maybe we should try it sometime.
Try just black tar heroin.
Well, if your asshole ever gets so chafed and callous that it shuts down on you, I will shoot you up with heroin.
No, if we all make it to 90, let's definitely do some heroin. How about it?
We've all done.
Sure.
We've probably all done heroin or some.
Yeah,
like,
but I'm talking about like
form of it.
I'm trying to tie my arm around and like shoot up and just be like, whoa, and just like experience. I mean, not now. I don't want to do it now. I'm just saying, like at the end of my life, if I'm tripping and cripping, dude, I'm trying to just busted up in my arm, dude, and feel the power.
Geriatric requiem for a dream.
Hopefully by the time you're 90, you won't have to go into a dark alley and tie yourself up.
I wouldn't do it in a dark alley, dude. I'll do it in the comforts of my own home, dude, with my friends. You guys.
Do it at a Starbucks?
Yeah. Get you some gift cards to pass after your
By the time Julian's
afterwards.
90, Starbucks might be selling heroin over the counter. Who knows?
Yeah, it's gonna be back in the Coca-Cola.
Let's hope.
that would be wild, man. I won't do it, guys. Don't worry. There's no need to be concerned about my well-being or my drug intake. I'm not gonna choose to do heroin anytime soon. Just as a caveat there.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's right. You don't have to fight the stigma of drug abuse. It's fine.
Yeah. Fight the stigma, baby.
Fight the stigma of
drug abuse. We didn't even talk last week about like where we all were and what we're all like, how we're all why we all are where we are. We kind of just jumped into your story, Alan, about you getting kind of lost up in your crazy time Logitech situation. But you've been in Australia for like,
don't say the word.
I know. Are you still stressing about it?
PTSD.
Yeah, dude. I just start twitching every time I hear that term. No.
Yeah.
God bless Logitech, man. That's the only job I've had in like fucking 3 years.
You have to go get a job at Arby's, dude, being a cleansing cook.
This far away from applying to progressive.com.
If Alan worked at Arby's, they'd make no money because he's the only one who buys Arby's.
Yeah,
for real.
No way, dude. I love Arby's. Me and Alan have always enjoyed Arby's.
I'm a big fan of Arby's, dude. Especially their like Supreme, their fresh cuts. They got like those fresh sandwiches now.
Oh yeah,
like
little
turkey,
like,
bacon, avocado, man.
Multi grain breads and stuff.
Yeah,
you guys are
it has been a while since I've had Arby's, but back in the day when I was on mass budgets, dude, Arby's came in handy.
Mass budgets meaning through like a sewn up butthole.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Roast beef from Arby's.
Damn, dude. What do you guys what if you had to pick? I don't know if we've had this conversation on the podcast yet, but if you had to choose between all your favorite fast food restaurant, which would it be?
My favorite fast food. I'd probably go with what's your definition of fast food? Like is Five Guys fast food? Because Five Guys is pretty fast.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, then it'd definitely be Five Guys, bro. No. Well, it's either Five Guys or In-N-Out.
Chipotle doesn't count though, Steve.
Why not?
Chipotle has to count.
It's on the same level as Five Guys. Yeah, okay. Like I think of fast food as like Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, Arby's.
All right,
Wendy's.
so in that vein, then, in drive-through window vein.
Drive-through window.
Taco Bell.
I'm going with Taco Bell.
Taco Bell's pretty prime. I think we might all agree on that.
It's been a minute since
the podcast.
Dude,
grilled stuffed steak burrito.
Taco Bell's been sponsoring touring musicians for millennia now, like almost almost
they gave us $1,000. They gave us like $105 gift cards to tour with.
What do you?
We just had to like tweet at them.
What do you do with $5 gift cards? Just like apply it to your bill.
You just give them the
your bill's $30. You give them the cards and they just swipe.
Remember when you could go to McDonald's or Taco Bell and actually get everything you needed for $5?
Yeah, not anymore.
I remember a time when McDonald's cheeseburgers were 29 cents at some point. There was like 29, and then there was like they were during days. Like it was like Wednesdays, it was 29-cent cheeseburgers, and then it was like 39 on Wednesday and like 59 on Fridays. And I was like, wow, this seems so cheap. That's so inexpensive.
Somebody was trying to explain to me the other day that like, oh, well, that's just their marketing ploy. Just like getting you in the door by making you pay, only 99 cents for a cheeseburger. I think my argument was like, how is it possible that you're allowed to serve food, like quote unquote food, for that price? There's no way that you can raise a cow, kill it, and then employ like millions of people in your stores and sell a cheeseburger for 99 cents. Like it doesn't make sense that you can do that.
Potatoes and soda are cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, is that where they're making their money? They're making it off the Coca-Cola and the fries?
I mean, I'd imagine. I mean, how much is a potato?
Is it
I
even
don't
real
know. I
potatoes?
have no idea. I'm just trying to think of like the expensive stuff has got to be bread decomposing, right?
Definitely not making their money off those salad McShakers.
Yeah,
Those
whatever they
things are
had mixed in
bullshit.
the meat to preserve it,
Yeah.
you know, whatever the fuck that is the stuff.
Yeah, that's what it is. When
Yikes.
you guys were young and when burgers were that cheap, back when I was talking about it, how did you guys, and also I guess there's two questions in here. How did you get money to go and buy meals for yourself when you were a kid, or like snacks or toys or whatever it was that you would go and buy?
Mm.
And what were those things?
Alan, go ahead.
I had an
Wait, did you
allowance.
steal?
Never. No,
Never.
dude,
Good kid.
I never stole. I had an allowance like for a year, I think. And then I was just such a lazy twerp that like I never did any of the chores. And so my
What were your
folks just
chores?
like stopped giving me allowance, and then I was just like kind of over it.
Yeah.
And then I think for a summer I mowed some lawns, and I made
Mhm.
my concept of money and business and my relationship with money is so like dumb. Like it didn't ever occur to
Same.
me until I was like literally out in the wild trying to pay my
Yeah.
own rent. It just never occurred to me that there was this thing called like making money
Right.
and like
And
how to make
budgeting
it
and
and like
yeah,
better
right.
ways to make it and saving it and like I just nothing until I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna have to provide for myself, and someday my body's gonna be so wrecked that I'm gonna need to live off the money I made when my body wasn't wrecked. Like, and that didn't
Yeah.
occur to
Yeah.
me until I was like 27. There's like
Right.
there's like 10-year-old kids. My nephew, the kid has like $1,000 saved up.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
he's
Nice.
like, "Hey man, can I have a nickel?" I was like, "Sure, what he's like, "Can I have the money in your pocket?" He's like, "Yeah, here, what?"
Sweet.
It's like 30
And he's
bucks
just
in there, dude. And
saving.
he's
I'm
just
gonna
Yeah.
start doing
storing it
that.
away. He's just storing
Wow.
it away. Like both him and his
What a
sister, like their
gangster.
relationship with money and savings is just brilliant. And when I was a
Wow.
kid, I didn't conceive of that concept whatsoever. It was just like, oh, it was my folks will. And then even more audacious is when I couldn't get things, I like got mad at my folks. It was like if I
Right.
couldn't get the new snowboard, I was like, why don't you guys make more money so you can buy me stuff?
Yeah, you're just a
and
brat.
yeah, I was just a rat kid, man. I never had like there was no concept of like if you do something like cultivate value for other people, they'll give you money in return, and then you can save it up
Right.
and you can bring more value to your own life. It was just like, why?
Right.
Bullshit, dude. I should just get stuff.
But
So I think
so what was it?
that was a long-winded answer of like I never ate out
No,
growing
no.
up.
It's you never did what?
Never ate out. Never like had money to
Uh
like go to McDonald's and get a burger. And
you never got any snacks? You never got any like Yoo-Hoos or any like Twizzlers or Nerd Ropes or anything like that?
I remember my
And
mom
hide
had
them under your bed?
my mom had like a one of those like penny jars, where it was like
Mhm.
all like mom and dad would put their loose change during the day. And every so often I would like walk by that little jar. And by walk by it, I mean I would pick it out from its hiding space, put it on the
Yeah.
table, and like
Pick out the
shuffle through
quarters.
there. Well, and there was dimes in there sometimes, and every so often you got lucky there was a quarter. and I would and I would
For so often there were dimes in there.
I would take it and go to like the bowling alley on my way to school, and you could get penny candies. These like
Oh,
they weren't
like Laffy
Laffy Taffies.
Taffies.
They weren't
Ah,
Laffy Taffies. They were like footies.
Gobstoppers. I
Footies.
don't know what those are.
They're like a
Fruit by
kind
the
of
foot.
Tootsie Roll, but they're like they're
Yeah, Tootsies.
Tootsies.
They were like the fruities. They were like
Absolutely, yeah.
like the fruit Tootsie Rolls.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember those. They
absolutely.
were colored.
That's what they were. They were like colored and had the
I
different
remember that.
flavors.
Yeah,
And
penny candies. I remember that.
oh, dude, I would get a mess of them, and then just just twinkle my way through them throughout the school day. I get like 75 of them and put them in my jacket pocket, and then they would just all melt to like one big
right
pasty ball.
softball of
So,
Rat king of candy.
yeah,
exactly, like a shot put of sugar.
Wow, dude. Yeah,
How
those
was
I
your
remember
guy,
those
Steve?
dollar
What was your
footies.
relationship with like work and money and saving and getting things growing up? Did you have one, or did you not worry about it?
Pretty similar to you, really. I did errands for my, side cash, um, which was just like, an allowance, a little stipend for me if I was a good boy. But I don't remember like going to get candy and stuff. I always wanted like accessories for, I'm talking like 6 to 10 or so. I always wanted accessories for, my Ninja Turtle toy or GI Joe or those kinds of things. I didn't spend it on food
You
or
had
anything
action
like that.
figures?
Yeah, I spent it on like baseball cards, Pogs,
Steve was a real
like
boy.
Dan Marino slammers,
Nice.
shit like that.
Yeah, I guess I did similar to that. Yeah, Steve, you were like a man when you were 6, I think.
No, I don't know, man. It was, and I think there was a lot of like communal stuff. I had tons of friends, and kind of where I grew up, everyone was kind of the same age. So if you wanted something to play with or go do, like just go to the neighbor's house,
Yeah.
which was cool.
Yeah.
I think
Somebody had something that you wanted that was
yeah,
around
and
you.
you go and trade, barter, be like, hey, do you want to borrow this? I'll borrow this.
Yeah.
I got the Jurassic Park truck. You got the like fort. You want to play? Bullshit. Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Were you
That
guys
was
ever
the fun stuff.
Were you guys ever into baseball cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. You guys ever into Star Wars cards? Did you ever get that bug?
No.
I had that for a minute.
I was into Marvel.
ticket.
I was into Marvel cards though. You guys even remember those? Our janitor at our elementary school, never. She's like the only person I remember from elementary school. Her name's Les. She was so cool. She would have all the students do her chores, and then she'd pay them in like candies and Marvel comic cards. And these comic cards were like some of them, I don't know what the value of them was, but like some of them would be hologram style, and some of them would be like see-through, transparent, and you'd just be like, "Oh my god, I got a Cyclops, transparent Cyclops." It was like the coolest thing, and you didn't know what to do with them. But she would just like she would just hand off her duties to like 8-year-old kids, and then she'd just like pay them in cards, baseball cards as well. And yeah, I think my brother still has like several boxes of his baseball cards just sitting in an attic somewhere. Might be some value to all that stuff. You guys remember Beckett's? Looking up your card value in the Beckett's?
Oh yeah.
No, you don't?
I forget
Yeah,
that was
that's
what they
like
were called.
Yeah, it would like show you the value of the 1993 rookie King Griffey Jr. from his home run grand slam day. Yeah, the Beckett's. Yeah, those were crazy. It's interesting. I kind of had the similar situation to you guys, but I do remember like getting a little bit out of my like adolescent age and being old enough to kind of know better. And I remember like when my mom and my dad had split, my dad had a house and my mom had a house. And I remember being at my dad's house, and he would always have like just like cash sitting on his bedside table. And if he didn't, he had a checkbook in his bedside table. And I had Tuesdays at my dad's house during, I was like part of the custody thing with my parents every Tuesday and every other weekend. And so every Tuesday I would go home from school and I would just like write checks from my dad's like Diego Gavilanes attorney at law checkbook and just like forge his signature to Papa John's and get like 6 pizzas delivered to the house. And they didn't know any better. They're just like they're just young like high school kids working at Papa John's, so they just like go and be like, sweet man. And I'd like tip them and stuff, and I'd take cash from his bedside table, and it was awful. It was so awful. And I remember even like doing, my mom would give me money to go do like I remember doing this with my cousin Brian McNeasy. Shout out to Brian. She was giving us, this was just one occasion, but like $20 every time we needed to go to the dump because we were doing like something for her. But we would take all of the dump and just like throw it elsewhere, keep the 20, and then go buy a dub sack of weed. Like, it was just such an awful thing to do. And yeah, like all the money that I made, because I remember getting stuff when I was a kid. Like we had a go-kart and a trampoline, and those were two of the things that my brothers and I bought, but I was the youngest, and so I don't really remember, contributing that much to those things. But I don't know where that money came from, and I
You
probably
wrote a
just was
check.
like, yeah, I just wrote a check, a blank check, man. I watched too much Blank Check, man. Was getting too
There
excited
you go.
about it. It was bad,
Macintosh.
man. It was a bad move, and now in retrospect, I'm like, man, that was kind of a shitty thing to do, man.
Is that
I remember one. Go ahead, Alan.
I was just curious if that's why you're terrified of having kids because of how because of how shitty of a kid you
Definitely,
were.
dude. Yeah, definitely, man. Like, I mean, yeah. Yes, yes and no. I mean, of course, because of the way that I came up, I'm just like, and look, there's plenty of kids who are much worse than that. But still, it's like that sucks. That's such a shitty thing to do. And especially because, like, now knowing, I used to just think that like my dad was like the richest man in the world, and he's by no means that at all. In fact, on the contrary. And I would just like take his bucks, dude, and just go like buy whatever I wanted with it. And like, and even like 20s would be on the table, on the bedside table. And I always thought, like, does he never count this? Because I'm just coming and grabbing like 60 every once in a while and just like
He
going
knew.
downtown. But I was just throwing down on like booze, and I mean, this was getting into like high school and stuff like that, like, and weed. Eh, yeah, that was crazy.
Do you
but
think
but
it's
I
do you sorry,
go.
I'm interested in talking about how easy it would be nowadays as a young high schooler to get weed in Washington now it's legal. Do you think it's harder or easier now that it's legalized?
It's probably uh it's probably easier. It's probably just the same. I mean, like older kids that are, of legal age to go and get weed from a dispensary, it's probably just more expensive. When we were kids, it was so cheap, man. When we were in like high school, when I was like a freshman, dude, I remember buying like quarter ounces for like $50. I don't even know what the price on that is anymore. But, I don't think that's the case anymore. It was just so inexpensive. And I bet now the prices have just like inflated with the prices that the value of weed is at a dispensary. And so it's probably just accessible for sure, because older kids will pass it down to younger kids and sell the dime bags and dub sacks and all that stuff to these young kids. And yeah, kids are probably just selling it out of their lockers at high schools.
Well, if they're even selling actual physical bud too, I mean,
Yeah,
you get
totally.
away with so much vape
Gummies
cartridge now and all the gummies and
yeah.
so many different ways now to like hide it from your parents, but it's just like shittily rolling a joint and trying to smoke it in the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I hear it quite often about like the impact of social media on young adults, young kids, teenagers, high school students. The impact of like sexting. There's like a lot of that happening, seemingly from what I hear in the like young teen world. But in Washington, I don't hear much about parents going like, God, dude, my kid is just like, I don't know where he's getting it, but he is just stoned all the time. I can't get him off the
Yeah.
weed. I'm not hearing that as much now as like when it was illegal. It was like, yo, dude, where's my kid getting all this weed?
Yeah, but who are you talking to that has teens? Are you talking to people that have
No,
teens?
I mean, look, it's all in
Because I don't know. I
passing.
don't know either. Right.
No, it would all be in passing. I think it was just a hypothetical. Like, do you guys think it's easier or harder now that it's legal and regulated for young kids to get it? Now, the same argument can be made for alcohol. Is it easier for kids to get alcohol nowadays than it was during, I don't know, the
I mean, it all just
1920s or
probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the kids
you
were
would think
making the
so.
booze in the 1920s,
Yeah.
but
Right.
I think
Right.
it's just if you have the hookup, if you just have, someone who will go and get it for you, I don't see why it would be really much different. In
Yeah.
fact, I
Yeah.
think it'd be easier because, you're like cousin Clegg can just go to the dispensary opposed to like trying to hunt down his weed guy and haggle and do all this bullshit, you know?
Right. Because how old do you need to be to go to a dispensary? 18, yeah? At least in the
21.
States? 21. That's the age?
For
Oh, I didn't know that.
non-recreational, for like
in Washington,
legalized or recreational marijuana, not medical.
Yeah, I don't know. Like what Steve was saying, you know, there was like a little mini mart that sold to me when I was a 9th grader, 8th grader. Like, you know, I used my brother's ID, who wasn't even 21 either, when I was using it. And I would just like go in and just like show an ID, and it would just like, he was just making sure that like the camera was picking up that somebody showed an ID when they walked in. He didn't care. He was just like, cool, man. Like, I'm just trying to sell beer here. I'm just trying to make money for my store.
And was it
And I'm
his?
sure there's plenty of stores like that.
Did he own
Yeah,
the
it was
store,
called
or was he an employee?
No, well, yeah, it was just like this old man who owned this store on the corner of this, like, you know, this intersection called Metzi's, that when I was growing up. And,
Oh,
you
you
know,
put
it
him
was
on
just,
blast, dog.
yeah, they're
Savage.
gone now. I've checked. But yeah, now he's gone for
I
show.
had one of those too.
Show.
It was like Frank's Mart, and it was like this guy Num Q and his wife that were the only two people I ever saw working there, and they didn't give a shit.
They didn't give a shit.
They wouldn't sell it to kids, but you know, he was like 17 years old, and they just didn't care.
Yeah, and it's so funny too because, you know, like, go ahead, Alan.
What do you think about the drinking age limit, the smoking limit? We can, you know, send kids off to war and they can die at 18, but they can't smoke a cigarette until they're 21. Can't smoke weed until they're 21. Over here in Australia, I think the drinking limit is 18. But God,
but even still,
your brain's not done developing until you're at least 25, 26. Do you guys have an opinion either which way? Should kids just be sucking down that bourbon latte when they're 14 or what?
I mean, if you want to end up like JP Grimes over here, dude, then go for it.
No, see, I think with that, Alan, is where like JP Grimes went all messed up, is that he wasn't taught how to control it. It was a taboo thing. It was a let's party, let's rage, where countries that are functional with younger drinking ages is because they're taught that this is a treat for dinner. This is a thing to be have responsibility to. It's not a, hey, I've been repressed sexually and party wise until I'm 18. Send me to my private Catholic college, Christian school. I'm gonna fucking go crazy because it's forbidden fruit. I'm gonna rebel against this. I really think that teaching those lessons, you know, not like putting a kid in a closet and smoke a cigar so he'll never smoke a cigarette, but things like teach him what a beer does, negative effects, positive effects, you know, but that depends on the parents' relationship with alcohol too. And I personally think that if people are taught to be responsible with the substance, they'll be way better off than it being a super taboo thing that they eventually just fucking want to sink their teeth into and go to town in an unhealthy way.
That's a really good point. But then do you think that so then those limits, those limitations, those age requirements in order to purchase it, do you think that that's just a, like, as a parent, right? I'm the only one who's got a kid between the three of us, and I'm attempting to, you know, I was raised like, don't do any of it. We didn't really even talk about it. Like I was never even invited to parties growing up, you know, because people knew that like I wasn't down with that. And I didn't even have to tell them I wasn't down with that. They just like assumed I wasn't down with that. It could have been, you know, like it could have been the polo shirts and like singing worship songs in my high school class, but that gave it away.
No, it's like the son of a pastor, son of a cop, son of a principal, you know.
Yeah, it was the same thing.
Excluded.
Absolutely. And so when I first got into any sort of like extracurricular substance activity, I had no knowledge around it at all, other than just hide it from anybody whose opinion I cared about. Still to this day, like even talking about it on this podcast, the first thing that goes through my mind, like, is my folks going to hear this and like, you know, be upset or be really, it's just ashamed. It's kind of like, oh, my folks going to hear about this and like be ashamed that I'm talking about these things that are so it's so ridiculous that they're taboo, but they are
right
for some reason. And as a parent, I'm like, where does that line, and how do you dance with it? And is it just constantly moving? Right? Once you get a good grip on your relationship with your kid, is it? I hear so many, my folks, they never put any boundaries on me, and so growing up, this is now what I'm dealing with. And then the other kids were like, well, I just always had boundaries, and so this is what I'm dealing with. I'm just like, am I just going to mess up my kid regardless of the parenting choices that I make? Is it just inevitable that I'm going to fuck my child up?
Well, I don't know.
No.
Isn't it just like a rite of passage for a young person to go through life and make the mistakes that they need to make in order to learn? Like, have you guys actually learned from anything but your mistakes?
I've learned a lot from your mistakes.
Yeah. Well, I'll be at the forefront of those for you guys for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, there's some things that you just clarify growing up and growing around. You just don't touch. You're just like, I'm not trying to go that. Whether it's, I don't drive fast. Like, I have no desire to get on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not ingrained with that desire, but I'll get on a snowboard and I'll fly. I mean, I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast, but Julian and I last year were snowboarding. I almost killed a lady.
Yeah.
Scouts honor, I thought I killed her. I was seriously traumatized.
He was fucked up,
had
dude.
Bad dreams for like 5 days. We were in Breckenridge, and
Vale.
Hopefully this doesn't get me in trouble, because maybe she's still looking for me, but
well, I don't know. Wes, the janitor, is certainly getting fired from this podcast, so lay it on the line.
No, you did everything you needed to do.
I did everything right, but still, at the end of the day, like, got into an accident and realized in that moment how dangerous this activity is, right? I'm blown away by whoever, I don't think it's one specific person, but if there was a marketing committee for downhill snow sports, that would be the greatest marketing committee of all time. Somehow, the perspective of going to a ski hill, riding up an iron lift that's like 75 feet off the ground, that some guy who's like barely graduated community college put up, going to the top of the hill, and then just pointing a slippery stand-up stick down in the direction of pain and going as fast as you can is like a family-friendly event. Whereas like wrestling is like, I don't know, violence. I don't know if I don't want to spark that rage inside of my kid, you know. They wear leotards. Those leotards, man. I don't want to spark that little, you know, I want him getting a chubby in that leotard.
Alan's harnessing Tug Puckett right now.
But the ski,
shout out.
Like, how did that happen? I hit this, and I know all of my friends. And we grew up snowboarding. All of my friends hurt themselves severely on a snowboard or a ski. I had a friend. Shout out to Scott Markle, bro. I love you to pieces, man. He was in the backcountry by himself, hit a rock, endoed, broke his spine, broke ribs, knocked himself out. Somebody just stumbled upon him, knocked out. He would have just been there for like hours. Probably died. Goes to the hospital. He's put into an induced coma for days. It's a good friend of mine.
Really?
I learned to snowboard with him.
Oh my God, dude. I didn't know that.
Gets out of it, heals himself up. Bro, I'm up on the ski hill with him months after he recovers for this, and he's not wearing a helmet.
Oh, no.
Bro, what are you doing? He's like,
treading the gnar, dude.
Just never wore one. Bro, you're what? Like,
yeah.
So I don't have that desire at all. Like the
crazy adrenaline
and maybe
junkie.
It could have been that I broke like 10 bones before I was 9 that made me like regulate.
Probably has something to do with it.
Probably, but like same with motorcycles. Like I don't know a single person who's ever like had a motorcycle and been into motorcycles that isn't severely hurt themselves on a motorcycle. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what that is. Why are you?
Yeah, we have some friends who are very reckless on their motorcycles.
Super reckless, dude. Like to the point where I'm like, dude, I don't even want to. If you ride your bike to where we're going, I'm not hanging out with you.
I'm not coming tonight. Yeah.
I'm not like,
yeah,
like, oh, I'm just having a beer, just a beer. It's like, bro, you're riding a fucking motorcycle, dude. You rode it here and it's raining. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Hey, folks. Today, our episode is brought to you in part by our good friends at Ladder Coffee. Head to laddercoffee.com and you can order beans directly from the brewer, as well as some of this beautiful cold brew. Locally owned and operated out of Spokane, Washington. Check it out. Ladder Coffee.
I'm jacked!
But before I moved to New York, I had to ride a motorcycle like in the winter time because it was my only mode of transportation, and it was my dad's big ass chopper Harley, that yellow thing.
I remember this.
I was like, I'm scared of motorcycles. Like I'm scared of guns. I'm scared of like motorcycles. I'm scared of these things. Like I love to snowboard too. I feel you on this as well, Alan. But like, yeah, I like before I moved to New York for like 3 months, I had sold my Jeep. And I didn't have a car. I didn't have a vehicle. So my dad had like inherited this big ass yellow Harley chopper with like a skull and crossbones on it. And it was my mode of transportation. Like in the dead of winter, I moved to New York in January. And so like from like November through January, I was just like, I remember riding it like over the 520 bridge, like in Seattle, and just like snow. Like like so scared, just like it scared the shit out of me, man. But yeah, when our friends drive and they're like, I can't even drink and drive a car, or even like operate a bicycle when I've had some drinks. When people are driving motorcycles, man, it's just like, come on, guys, this is fucking stupid. I'm stupid, but this is really fucking stupid.
Bad false
confidence. To me, the motorcycle thing is not even about like your ability on a motorbike. It's about, you think about how many people you have to trust in order to get on a freeway and arrive at your destination safe. Like, we don't think about that at all. You don't know anybody on that freeway. Totally. You'll pass hundreds of cars. You don't know what pills those mofos been popping, who's texting Carly back at Grinder, like what music they're listening to. We take all of that for granted. We just get on the freeway. We're just like, yeah, dude, we're cool, man. Yeah. We take so many chances in our life that we just like are fine with doing. And the motorcycle thing for me is like, I've ridden motorcycle. I have a motorcycle, but
you do?
Like I have this like little postie, like this CT 110 thing that like I got for Taz for her 30th birthday. Or
I thought you were just talking about your electronic bike. I was like, come on, Alan, that's not a
bro. Even that scares me. Even that scares me.
Dude, those things get up and running, dude.
It's just how much you have to trust, especially too, because when I ride that electric bike, shout out to Rad Power Bikes, bro, Seattle-based company, everything manufactured in Seattle. What? When you get on the back of that thing, it's not about your ability on a bike. It's about having to trust like hundreds of other people who, dude, I mean, there's people behind the wheel who should not be behind the wheel. You should have a driver's aptitude bro, I'm a distracted driver. Like, I know how distracted I can be on the road. And I mean, I've never gotten in a serious wreck, but yeah, that's the motorcycle thing for me. I'm like, I don't get that, man. I don't understand.
Well, what are you going to do when little Tintin wants to get a motorcycle when he turns 16?
Well, that's the bugger too, because his mom's like adamant motorcycle rider. You know, she's like all about it. She comes from a family of motorbike riders, and My dad's a motorbike. Like, I'm cool with motorbikes, right? But like riding
Like
on
the
the
big eagle
freeway.
wings that just have like speakers and like giant
No,
lazy
that's like a
boys on them.
no, that's like a roadster or
RV.
something.
Those are the best, dude.
RV.
Those are cruise. Those are called like cruisers or something. I'm talking like go out like a
Yeah.
dirt bike. Like go out where there's
Yeah.
dirt and ride a bike
Mm-hmm.
where you're
Scab
not.
up your knees a little bit if you can.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, like
eliminating
if
like a
you
bus changing lanes.
exactly,
Yeah.
which is actually
Yeah.
most like fatalities with motorcycle crashes come from like cars hitting the motorcycles, not motorcycles, wrecking or. I literally just made up that statistic. I've never researched that at all.
sounds close. Yeah. Yeah, no, like a quick adjustment, they take a spill. Anyways, so yeah, I've been Julian, to answer your question, I've been in Liberty Lake the whole time.
Yeah, there you go.
Since
you've been since we left.
Yeah.
4 months ago. Because we did 16 episodes, and those were the episodes that came out that we were all a part of that were just backlogged. That was 16, which is 4 weeks, or 4 months. Sorry, which is crazy because it doesn't seem like it's been that long since we've not seen each other.
Mm-hmm.
Does it seem that long to you guys, or does it seem even longer because of time?
Goes back and forth. I think it feels probably long just because I've just been out here and I went away from the 4 days or 5 days routine with you guys.
Yeah,
that it's been like a big adjustment. I haven't gotten the action like you guys have.
Yeah. We had a pretty solid ritualistic kind of flow going for a while. I mean, we didn't really know what we were doing half the time, but we still were doing stuff regularly, just pretty much every day.
We did a lot, man.
That was a wild time. We did a
did
lot of stuff.
We did a ton of stuff in that
2 movies,
in that year.
Tons of Live at the Lodge stuff, podcasts.
Yeah,
extracurriculars. I want to get those Pong conversations out there too.
I know, Alan.
I still got to finish the edits on the Pong conversations. Yeah, I got 4 of them.
Did you make some? Oh, cool.
Yeah, we shot 3 of them. I shot one with, and they're sick, dude. They're actually cool. Like that idea for a podcast is actually a really good idea if you can get
yeah,
guests.
awesome. Who'd you shoot them with?
It's a quick format, like 10-minute thing. But we
did Blake, Tristan, and myself.
Yeah, Blake,
cool.
Tristan, and
that's
Steve.
awesome. Yeah, something that's so strange about having done so much stuff during the pandemic with you guys is that coming back out here, it's almost like the bar was set so high for me to like continue doing stuff and doing things. And when I didn't have the tools or the people and the resources to do the things that we were doing, and the community to do it, I was like, oh my God, I'm dead in the water. And I'm like in this place that I'm meant to be so proactive and efficient and productive in. And all of a sudden I found myself, and we're also like coming like at the end of a pandemic, and things are still very strange, obviously. But I definitely set the bar really high for myself and was like, wow, I can't go back to square one. I have to do this and or better. And I don't know how healthy that was for me for a little while, because I was really kind of just like gutted by this idea that I needed to like keep going and not stopping. And I've since kind of collected myself and gone easy on myself. But yeah, that really set the tone that once we did all that stuff. But it wasn't in a bad way, because we did all those things and we didn't do them in any like it was all fun. It was, stressful at times, but it was all for the purpose of just having a blast. And I think coming back here, it felt like, oh, I need to be doing that now, rather than like we're just doing these things because we can and we love to. Whereas I was like, I need to feel that again. And that was like a dangerous place for me to be. It's really, really driving me crazy.
Well,
did you guys feel any of that?
That's why you just need to move back to Spokane so we can keep doing that stuff.
Well, don't tempt
Seems
me
like
with the
there's a
good
solution
times,
to this problem,
Santa.
Steve. It's called get
Nah,
your
man.
ass
Someone
Yeah.
come
out
and
of New
unlock the
York
attic so I can
City.
get out of this fucking place.
Steve's been up there for 9 years counting. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I would love to. I don't know. It's such a weird conversation, even, man. I don't know. Like, there's so many things I want to get done in New York. I've been here for 10 years, man. It's like so hard for me to just be like, yeah, all right, I'm done, because I'm not, and it's like it's almost like it might even just be my ego that's like, nope, I need to prove it to myself that I make sense out here. And it feels like I'm just on the cusp of delusion, where I've like done just enough work out here as an actor and as like a person in my life to keep me going. If I hadn't done enough, I know several actors that live out here that literally just like don't do anything. They don't have representation. They don't get work. They've never had anything happen, and they just like go to class, and then they go and work their day job,
Can
and
you
and that
name
seems like
them?
delusional to me. Jarek and
Give them Can you put their Insta
Give
handles
a shout
on?
out. Yeah,
Give them
definitely.
a shout
Scroll
out,
them
dude.
through the bottom.
They need some
I'll
work.
scroll through the bottom. No, but it's really sad, man, because like, and I feel like, geez, because you're always looking at you're a product of your surroundings. So you're like, okay, I got people up here and I got people down here, and I'm like, geez, I'm in the median, and you always feel like you're, I mean, at least me, I always feel like I'm like not where I want to be, and I always want to be farther. And I look, sometimes I like check myself, and I'm like, okay, cool. Well, you've done stuff, and you're doing things still. So that is what is continuing to motivate you to do these things, because you are growing and the trajectory is moving in a forward motion. But there's a little bit of just like, am I delusional to be thinking that I can like am still doing this and should be doing this? And then it's like, no, Julian, you're not. You're doing it. It's happening. But like, I look at some of my other friends, I'm like, you guys are delusional. But then I'm like, what's really the difference? And it's just time. And like, the only way to fail at this thing is by stopping and giving up.
Yeah,
Like, that's the only surefire way to fail.
I think, Jules, if you break down anything that you do, there's a level of delusion that goes into it. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
whether you're succeeding at the highest quote unquote success plateau, or at the end of the day, we're floating on a ball in the middle of eternity, breathing oxygen. Our system has evolved over millions of years, and like, some place in our body allows oxygen and blood to separate so that we
we're in
can
a simulation. The Earth is flat.
But I mean, like, really, like, if you step far enough away from your own problems, not you specifically, Jules, I'm just speaking like in general,
Yeah. No,
myself,
I get it.
it's all crazy. It's all fucking
Yeah.
delusional, dude. And that's even more of a reason to do what like really inspires you and really makes you stoked. And I think for me, I just want to do cool shit with people I enjoy doing cool
Yeah.
shit with. Like,
Totally.
that's at the end of the
Right.
day, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
I think
lessen the amount of time I spend doing things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
That's like what I want 2021 and onward to be. Just like, I want to do shit I want to do. And sure, there's stuff that like you know, at times where you got to dig deep, right? Like I don't necessarily like exercise, but in order for me to operate at my best, I've got to go do it. In order for me to not be pissed off constantly, I've got to get some cardio in. So sure, there are some things in life that you don't want to do, but creatively, like, I want to move forward doing things I enjoy with people I enjoy doing them with.
I think we're doing that. I mean, and I think just having that mentality and saying it out loud, and trying to apply those thoughts towards the execution of a thing is the first steps in any of that stuff. And we've already proven that we can, and we've already proven that we should continue to do those things. And so I don't know, it seems like a really good place. And that's, that's just to go back to the whole idea of like coming back to Spokane. It's like, that's what kind of is conflicting in me currently. Cause I'm just like, shit, man, like, fuck, like what am I, where, who, like, I have literally like a life there and a life here now because of what we've done. And that's so awesome. And I don't want to also lessen, like, you said I want to lessen the things that I don't want to be doing, but the things that I'm doing out here, minus like some of the, when I get into like this mode of being like, oh my God, so fucking crazy, I can't pay attention, I'm auditioning all the time and I'm getting rejected all the time, like that can suck. But for the majority of it, I really do really like it. And so otherwise I wouldn't be here if I didn't. And I want to do the exact same thing. And I think we will. And I think we have and are going to continue doing that. And that's exciting.
Yeah, I think potentially the time that we had was unprecedented because it was a pandemic and we had so much focused and concentrated time to do things and try things that we'd never had the time or opportunity to try.
Unique circumstance for sure.
Very, very unique circumstance, like Steve said. And so moving forward, I think it's just, there's just more of a long play, right? It's like we did all of this really fun stuff together. And thank God that we were able to, that like we were afforded the ability and time and finances, even like the support of fans and people who bought tickets to all these ridiculous shows we made.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I think those carrying on that creativity is absolutely vital and able. It's just got to be a longer play, right?
Yeah.
It's just got to be a longer play. Like, okay, in 9 months, what are we going to do? Versus like, hey, dude, it's 3 weeks till Christmas. Let's do a Christmas special.
We gotta make a movie.
So
that's what it was.
It was.
That's what it was.
It was just absurdly
that
fast
was
and big.
wild.
Steve, you were going to say something. Both Julie and I cut you off.
Oh no, it's all good. I was just going to say, I think what we enjoyed the most out of most of those days is that by the end of the day, we all felt good and supported by each other and like successful as of whatever metric that is to the individual person for whatever we did that day. It felt good and comfortable. And at the end of the day, all that matters is that you live your life like this.
Yes.
Have your most best time.
Have your most best
Hell
time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Swadikins.
That's it.
That's it, man. That's it.
That's it. Have your most best time.
That is really it, man. We're going to get, and the long game is we're never going to not be friends and be collaborators and be people who are going to want to stay creative. It's part of our DNA at this point, especially with each other as a unit. We have this, and this thing is always going to hold us accountable to have these conversations, and then to be like, well, I guess I got to come back to Spokane and let's start doing this thing. And there's always works in progress too. There's always things that we're all like, I don't know if I can announce this. I'll cut it out if I can't, but Alan, you sent me a song and it's fucking rad. It's fucking sick.
Dude, I've been writing songs like a madman, bro. I'm like so stoked.
It's so great. It's fucking it's like one of the better songs I've heard from you in a long time, in my own humble opinion.
Thanks.
And you did it all on your own. Like you didn't have the help of anybody, from what it sounds like.
Well,
and that's
not totally true. But
well,
I started it and wrote the lyric and the melody by myself, but then the Twinkle Fingers Swadikins laid down the keys pipe on it, bro, and just brought this whole song to a different level. It's like, he laid some Moog bass on this, dog. I'm telling you, it's like makes you, oh, dude, my balls up in my chest.
Yeah, send it to Steve.
He had his most best time.
I'll send it to Libs.
But yeah, it goes to say that like we're doing stuff. We're being creative. We're that was not the right way to say satiate. We're we're I don't fucking know, man. Like
Snaking our less for the creative juices.
That's exactly what I needed to say. Thank you, Steve. And there's always something going on, and we're always going to be doing those things because we're creative people inherently. So I'm not concerned about it by any means. I'm more just excited and like eager to have it happening. And so, you know, downtime always feels like, and even just like seeing you guys right now and like having this conversation, I'm like, fuck, man, I miss you guys. I want to like, it's, you know, we're doing these conversations from across the globe from each other, literally. But it's it's nice. It's cool that we can. What a privilege we have to be able to like use this cool technology to do this stuff. But mark my words, man, we're gonna do so much more. We're gonna make movies. We're gonna make all sorts of stuff. We're gonna make albums, musicals, all these things. They're in the works. There's things that are happening all the time. Alan's working on music. It's gonna happen, and that's a really exciting thing to know and to like honestly count on. Like I rely on you guys as creative presences in my life, and that's a really cool friendship to have, in my opinion.
It is. Likewise, Jules.
Fight the stigma, baby. Fight
Fuck
the stigma.
You guys. Fuck you guys, I'm out. Fight the stigma, baby. Fight the stigma.
You heard
it's
it
hot out here in New York, guys. Do I still look tan?
I'd like to one caveat from the current position that we're in. Do you own a shirt with sleeves, Jules?
Not now.
Not now, yeah. Or pants where the knees aren't uncovered.
It's so hot here, dude. I mean, Steve's got it worse, but I mean, it's actually pretty cool in this room that I'm in right now.
Yeah, but it doesn't stink like New York blasted.
Does. Yeah, dude.
What do you mean?
Like at least I'm out in nature and it's nice. It's just hot, but
yeah, you don't
it's not hot garbage everywhere.
Oh, dude, it seriously gets so bad, dude. I always tell people like it's like literally having a down comforter saturated in like your like 4-month bender drinking of Jaeger pissed on and then like hosed off with like a garden hose that just like is the beginning of the spigot that's just still like muddy and gross, and like, that's what you tried to wash it off with, and then you wring it out and then you put it in the microwave, get it hot, and then you just toss it over somebody's head. Like that's what it feels like when you go outside out here in New York these days.
Been there for 10 years. He's loving it every day, everyone.
Yeah,
he loves it.
He's really selling it, baby.
Fight the stigma.
Really selling it.
Fight the stigma.
Went to the zoo yesterday, you guys, with Rudy.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, the Melbourne Zoo.
You've been going there quite a bit, haven't you?
It's so much fun, dude. He's like, we saw orangutans.
What does he love?
Really big into empies, which in children's vernacular is elephants. He can't pronounce elephants, so he says empies. Dude, we kind of did the whole zoo. Saw giraffes, bro, like 10 feet away from a giraffe in an open air exhibit. Wild.
That's the coolest.
Crazy, dude. Absolutely insane.
We got to go on an African safari someday with each other. Your dad's been talking about him for a long time.
Dude, Danny Eugene's been going on African safaris for a minute. Been trying to convince me to go.
He's showing us pictures on his first generation digi camera.
Yeah, bro, he's still got like a cyber shot from '94 that he's rocking. But it's got a really long zoom, dude, so he can get the close-ups from long ways away.
Great.
We're in the zoo, and we do the whole entire zoo, and we see tigers and lions and zebras, and it's a blast. I'm just like, this is so cool, you know. Like I think a lot of people frame when they go to the zoo like they're captive, they can't go anywhere. There's and that's kind of a natural way to look at a zoo, but then also like we formulate that opinion without talking once to any of the animals, right? Like some of those animals might be like, bro, this is like the Ritz-Carlton, dude. They just bring me food. I don't got to go find it. Like I don't got to look for predators constantly. But I go through the whole zoo and I get to the orangutans, dude, and the orangutans are sitting. There's like there's like a glass and space that you can just like stand in front of. There's a little deck kind of right in front of that glass exhibit, and the orangutans are 3 inches away from the glass, and I was like, bro, that's weird. Like orangutans are so close to being human.
Yeah.
It was
behind
wild. It's like looking right at you, and I was like, "That's my cousin." That was like very shocking. I was stone sober. It was like 10:30 in the morning. I was like,
I thought you were
"That's
just gonna be like, I was stoned out of my mind. I was
no,
like, well,
no."
yeah, dude, that's why you were
No, you can
freaking.
see him working it out. You can see consciousness. You know.
You can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
consciousness in those. I can't. The lions, the tigers, like even though I don't necessarily think that that's the greatest life for them, right, in an enclosure, but their life isn't shit. I mean, like they're chilling. They get food every day. They're all right. But I don't look in their eyes. I don't look in a elephant's eye and go like, oh, like that's something like me. But bro, I got face to face with one of them tans, dude, and I was like, bro, I was like, I was about ready to bust those mofos out, dude. I seriously almost
I
hopped the
remember,
fence and like threw them on my
Totally.
shoulders and like, we're out of here,
dude.
dude.
I
Davey,
remember
get the car warm.
I remember being at the zoo with you, Alan, when we were like 19 or 20 years old, and we were stoned out of our brains, and you
Yeah.
were standing at the monkey glass, and you were just you had your hand up against the glass, and you just kept reciting, "Oh hey there, monkeys! Oh hey there, monkeys!"
Come
For
on,
like
Marcus.
35 minutes. Come on now, monkeys. Oh hey there, monkeys. Like
Was even
I like did the whole tour of the west wing of the zoo and came back, and Alan was still just sitting there with his hand up trying to preach to the monkeys.
I mean, even though like a little monkey, we went and saw like baboons.
That's not a little
They're-
monkey.
well, the little version of that monkey, like it was the baby or something. That was
A
the one that
baby.
I saw up close, and it wasn't the same
Yeah.
interaction. It wasn't the same thing. Like there's levels to that monkeydom that was
For sure.
very apparent in this orangutan. I was like, bro,
Dude.
Very smart.
it wasn't
What we got?
long ago.
Oh,
This
Oh,
is my monkey
Jules.
Gunung.
oh,
My
Orangutan.
mom adopted it for me for Christmas a long time ago. His name is Gunung. He's from Indonesia.
Hey, that's pretty
love
cool.
that.
Julian's holding up a plaque and that has a cute little orangutan on the plaque. His name is Gunung.
I
So
love
wait, so you
Gunung.
adopted it, but you couldn't name it? That seems messed up. Why
He's
did they
so
get it?
cute.
Super cute, but like, why don't you get to rename it?
I probably could if I wanted to. I think I just
Name
need to pay the subscription fee or something. Like, I think my
Long-
subscription expired.
Nah, I think if you clean up its shit every day, you get to name it. I
Yeah,
don't care if you're donating $5 a month.
totally.
That's very
Yeah,
true. They
no, I
shouldn't
love
call it
that little.
adopting.
I love
They
that.
should call it like supporting or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's like adopt a
Long-term loan.
highway. You're like, come on, bro. You ain't doing nothing. You got to sign. You
Yeah.
gave $1,000, but you're not actually doing anything. You're not cleaning the diapers. You're
Right.
not going and picking up
Right.
trash. It's like all the prisoners.
Right.
They should get the adoption award.
yeah. No, my mom gave me Gunung for Christmas like several years ago, and it's made it through the move, man. It's made it through lots of moves here in New York, and kept it with me. He's my baby daddy. What?
I remember when Free Willy came out, everyone was buying Shamus left and right.
Yeah.
Everyone had to own an orca after Free Willy came out.
Who wants to own an orca? Can't say own an orca. Who wants to own an orca? I do.
Speaking of whales,
Hold me.
Taz and Rudy and I went to Lorne last weekend. There was whales in the bay. 3 humpback whales,
cool.
like
Humpbacks,
100 yards away from the shore, just chilling, bro,
Sweet.
like waving at me. Kind of like apparently they're in heat.
Nice, dude.
Somebody was reading off like a Wikipedia thing.
Which means they're like horny for each other?
I don't know if they're in heat
Like
or
mating
like
season?
they've just had babies? Because there was 3 of them, and 2 of them, I was assuming, not being a naturalist or a biologist or zoologist or marine whateverologist.
I think I think the people expect you to be that, Alan. You better tell this accurately.
I'm speaking out of my ass at all times. I was assuming that they were the babies, and
they were waving.
Yeah, she kept going on her side and like waving, like "What's up, Mike?"
Cool.
Have you guys ever seen a whale up close, like a humpback whale?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I've seen a blue whale, which is like
nice.
I want to say like 200 feet long, but I might be exaggerating.
Buses.
But how close were you?
Huge. Very.
Excuse me.
We were in Loretto. It was like all you could see was the body kind of coming up and over the water, and then like you could see the water kind of like moving around it, and like the foam and like the ripple effect that it created on the current. But it was we were probably because the guy that was driving the boat that we were in was, you know, a guy local from the area, and he was like wanting us to see it, and so he got up probably as close as like 50 or 60 feet.
That's amazing.
Did you get a peek of that blowhole?
Dude, hell yeah, baby. That thing was fierce. I could have literally gone inside of it with my own whole body and not even plugged it up.
What do you guys think about this New Jersey guy who's claiming that he got swallowed by a whale and spit back out? You guys seen these stories?
Dude, how do you know so much news about stuff, man?
What do you read the news.
Do you?
I mean, yeah. I guess that's news.
Good idea. Yeah,
it was like one of the number 1 trending stories on Apple News. Like,
come on now,
the last 2 weeks
on Apple News.
Scout's honor, bro. None of you saw it.
I didn't hear anything about it. No.
This like guy from New Jersey is like, it's a fucking whale, Mike. It's a fucking whale, bro.
Did he have
it's
pics?
Injured.
Did he have pics to prove it?
Looks injured, bro. It's a whale.
Did he have bruises to prove it?
No, he just I read the article and I was just like, how did this become a like national news story? Because essentially the guy just like was out fishing, claims he got swallowed by a whale, got back on his boat, drove into shore, and was just like, and told somebody. And then like CSNBC just picked it up and was like, man claims to be swallowed by a whale.
Hey man, we just watched Independence Day a few days ago, and Randy Quaid is the weirdo in the movie. He talks about being abducted by aliens, and everybody thinks he's the crazy drunk in town until guess what? The fucking aliens show up and he saves the world. And so maybe this guy's telling some truth, man. Maybe this guy has some real truth to the matter. Let's not call him anything yet. Let's maybe I
was asking your guys' opinion because this is a podcast where you strike up conversation and neither of you had any opinion.
That's my opinion is I'm saying maybe he's the Randy Quaid of the story. I believe him.
Speaking of UFOs, what do you guys think about all these UFOs that the Pentagon's releasing?
I've been reading the news. Yeah, I mean, I'm into them. I buy into it, man. I saw some UFOs before. I told you that story. I mean, I don't know what I saw.
Do you think they're like extraterrestrial from another planet?
I don't think they're called UFOs anymore. I think they're called like
Unidentified Aerial
UTI, urinary tract infection. That's basically.
What do you think they are? Do you think that they're from another planet?
Aliens.
Do you think they're aliens?
I hope so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they're other life form. I would like to think. Steve? I would like to think that. Energy. They're different. They're different forms of energy that are unidentified because we haven't received that strain of is energy. Can energy be in a strain? Whatever that is. Whether that's look at both your guys' faces right now. Looking at me.
You sound like you're pitching a new CBS sitcom after a basketball game.
You sound like you work at BuzzFeed and you're like, okay, so here's the column. So you
Energy
get like
is a
40
strain.
of the worst scenes in 16 candles. Okay,
no, man,
like
I want to believe that the aliens are real things. I just don't know what an alien is. Like that's the thing. It's just like there's a an idea that we have been conditioned to believe through media that what an alien is, but I just don't know what that is. But yes, I believe that I think that the things that people may be seeing and what I may have seen before is just like a different form of energy that we never have come in contact with before. Whether that's is an alien in its actual like Independence Day slimy form, or whether it's like something that we can't even see, it's something else than what we are aware of. But who the fuck am I, dude?
Well, yeah, it's obviously
Just
something else. I'm
Dandy
curious.
Quaid over here.
I'm curious what Steve thinks they are.
They
Steve's
are
skeptical.
Unidentified flying objects that I don't know how to identify.
Yep. Glad that's you could expand on it.
You're welcome. That's a long conversation, I think, honestly, for me. I'd rather save that for another podcast because that's a whole world of conversation.
My dad's coming into town on Thursday. You guys want to have a UFO conversation with the eggs?
I don't need to do research. I know the answers, dude. Bezos is just playing an air go-kart game with all of the Quaid families. That's what he said he's doing.
Yeah, go do some studying on UFOs. I think I have a feeling that the Pentagon is bringing to Congress within like the next couple weeks. They're coming in front of Congress and talking about these unidentified. I feel like they're unidentified aerial objects, UAOs or something.
Yeah, I mean,
which is gonna be wild because I can't wait
I
for them
to
do.
I hope they do.
They definitely are. It's coming in front of Congress soon, and I can't wait to see some of the questions that our Congress people ask.
So, dude, let it out. Let the information out. I think that's where my skepticism goes so much is that like it's so fantasized where I want to believe and how selfish of it to think that we're the only existing creatures or entities in this psychic nature, right? In this realm, in the spirit energy Julian's talking about. Like it's selfish to think that we're the one in the billion possibilities out there in the universe. I just don't want it. Yeah. It's so fantasized. It's so. I'm just
terrified that we're gonna weaponize it. Like always, our
those are the theories though that we already have. Isn't that the theory though that we already have? We had nothing. We basically had cars that went fast until the 50s, and then we found a UFO, and then computers came.
So, well, yeah, I mean that's a theory that makes sense. But my fear is that the Pentagon, or our stance on it, right? Our stance always when we come in contact with something we don't understand is like, oh, well, it's gonna kill us, right? But there hasn't been any airstrikes. There hasn't been any UFOs like dropping bombs, or we take unmanned aircrafts and we fly them to Syria and we blow up weddings, right? UFOs haven't done any of that.
Well, that's part of the thing though. Go ahead.
Well, my fear is that we're going to take all of this unidentified information and we're going to like stir up a reason to be afraid of something so that we can go off and just fight another war that's going to be unending and a fucking drop in the bucket of our federal budget. But that's for another show. But I am a little bit less like, oh man, where are they going to take this thing? Like,
yeah,
I'm a little curious about it.
Yeah,
because they're great. They're just like they show up every so often, and they just like they fly in circles, and they're just like, "What's up, dude? You can't catch me."
Well,
and that's it.
Part of the too, right? Is that there's never been one that's landed in Central Park. They're always in these like crazy rural areas. Right. It's like if they're out there, why aren't they flying over Fenway Park?
They're going
why don't they just show up and just like live their life, bro? It's Pride Week. Why don't you just go out on the streets and just be like, it's UFO time, baby. I'm living my best life.
Nipple tassels.
I've been to the desert in Nevada. It's boring as shit. There's no reason for aliens to be flying around out there. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Dude, maybe that's
it's
what
like
they
my
want.
body. It's
They're
like my
not looking
upper
for what
half.
they're not looking for what we want. Yeah, it's like my upper half. It's my upper torso out
upper
there in the
torso.
Jim Dean deserts. Also, it's called a unidentified aerial phenomena.
There you go.
UAP.
UAP, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew it was
Yeah.
UA something.
Everybody else besides us knows that, though, so it's no news for anybody. I'm just telling you guys because we're behind the times.
The videos specifically from like these Navy pilots are pretty bonkers.
Mm-hmm. Compelling.
Like how quickly these things are moving across the screen, and just like the actual videos are like, whoa, that's not like a bird or a fly or. And seemingly, if that sort of technology existed, like if that was the Chinese, it would be so. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to keep that technology under wraps, like to develop that sort of anti-gravity, like interdimensional propulsion, and just like some professor at Amherst wasn't just like, "Hey, I heard about this thing that they're doing in China," right? Like. So that's what's weird to me, is that if it was a human technology, I feel like that the leap between, fossil fuel propulsion and what you're seeing on that screen, it's such a gigantic leap that somebody would have had to said something, leaked something.
Well, there's a bunch of theories about how that stuff doesn't happen either.
Say that again.
The Men in Black. That's a bunch of theories about why that stuff doesn't happen either, as far as the value of it, keeping it secret because it can be weaponized by your enemies. The Men in Black, that's that whole thing, right? It's like there was a team that went out and found people that might have had justified information or real proof that those sorts of things were in the works, and they disappeared. And that's a whole other thing.
Do you think that in a day and age where we're so connected to technology, that it would be easier to keep things secret today or harder to keep things secret today?
Easier. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think so too. And I'm right back in what was that movie that Leonardo DiCaprio was in, where he was like the ultimate con man? Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah, that was a true story.
True story, right? But that was like back in the 60s, was it? 50s, 60s. Mm-hmm. When all that was happening, you're watching that movie, you're like, how did that could never happen today? You just couldn't pull that off. You couldn't pull off like a bunch of fake passports and like there's too many digital representations of your face. Mm-hmm. But if you're some sort of like deep state shadow government and you just don't communicate on the internet, right? If you just like kind of go back 100 years and do things the way that they used to, couldn't you just keep things like wicked secret beyond just like,
it would either have to be definitely like yeah, I don't know, I don't know. I think that you're right. If you like snail mailed things in correspondence wise, it could probably stay secret, or be like the highest level of hackership to where like no one can break your email code,
right?
Yeah,
which that seems
security clearances.
That seems less plausible to me than just like, hey, dude, I got that. I found an alien. Okay, let me just UPS Tom over in Nevada. Like nobody would pick that up. They wouldn't be looking for it. Yeah, like an actual paper trail nowadays seems like it would be more secretive than like encrypted email, right? Because
it's true.
Nobody's looking.
Nobody's looking. Just like actually tie your letter to a pigeon and just like take it off.
We've been talking about this for decades.
Catalog and credit,
I just put a bunch of letters in a bottle. Carve out the
pages in a Bible and just carve out the pages in a Bible and like just put your note in that thing and send it off. That's the way to do it, man.
That is the way to do it. That's for another podcast, though. I think that would be an interesting conversation to just dive into aliens and extraterrestrial, especially with that hearing coming up. Like I think it's in the next week or two that literally the Pentagon is meeting in front of Congress, and
wow, that's
hopefully
crazy.
Hopefully it goes over well, better than when like Facebook and Twitter met in front of Congress. And our congressmen were like, hey man, so my Wi-Fi like fucking doesn't really get all the way to my garage, and I'm curious if you could tell me why that happens. It's like, dude, I'm fucking Mark Zuckerberg, dog. Why are you asking me about fucking Gmail account, dude? I hope it's like that. I hope it's like leads us to. Anyways, love you guys. This has been a blast.
Love you too. I'm gonna go take care of your dogs
for the rest
now.
of the day. Oh, you're gonna go take care of the dogs?
Yeah, I gotta get to the dogs.
Get to the dogs. What are you doing, Alan?
I am playing tennis tonight.
Nice, dude.
With my local rat pack, bunch of old fucking gutter rats, and I'm looking for a good series to start, man.
Yeah, man. Okay.
On the tellies.
Dude, I just watched this movie called The Father. Oh my god, dude! It's with Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, it's so good.
You saw it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's super.
I'll think of some series out and I'll text you.
Yeah.
Yeah, text me some series. It's tough. It's a tough thing, you know, because I'm like trying to get Taz into the series, and then also Muzz, you know, my father-in-law, and also my mother-in-law.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
got people.
That's the hardest, dude. Like, I want to watch. I'm in the mood for like a new Game of Thrones, dude. I want some blood, and some like hardcore like spearing. I want to see somebody get shish kebab from like 40 yards out.
Dude, I'm watching Game of Thrones right now, and I'm at the height of some neat shit, dude, that I've been seeing lately.
I think American Gods is really good now.
American Gods?
Yeah.
Okay. What's that?
It's sick.
What streamers?
Showtime stars. HBO. It's one of those.
We don't get that over here.
Damn, dude,
we don't get them HBO Max. We don't get the Showtime over here. We get nothing, dude. We get like in Netflix. And say what you will about Netflix, they got some good programs. They also have some shit programs.
Goodies. Totally.
Yeah.
They just been buying up old programs.
Steve's like, all right, guys, sign us off with a nice song, Alan.
Yeah.
Sing us off.
Lord, here I am to worship. Here I am to bow. He's out. Love you, Steve. Peace.
Love you, Steve. Bye, Daddy.
Oh, boo-boo, did you just make it to the end of the video? Yes, you did. Do you want to see more videos just like this one, huh? Do you?
Well, then head over to patreon.com/Live at the Lodge, where you can support the How Goods of this podcast, as well as the entire Live at the Lodge family.
Yep, yeah, you're going to get exclusive merch, personalized shout-out videos. Me and Jules, we're going to show up at your house and baptize your nephew, huh? Check it out, patreon.com/Live at the Lodge.